Okay, Chair, we're ready to go live.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hartley Lefton. I'm the Chair of the Board of Directors of the Toronto Parking Authority. The Board Secretary has confirmed we have quorum, so I will call to order this special meeting of the Board of Directors of the Toronto Parking Authority. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're all safe and healthy. We have a very short agenda today. This meeting is being held using the city's WebEx technology, with directors and staff connecting by video conference or calling in. City Council has amended our meeting rules to enable us to hold virtual meetings during the COVID-19 emergency and for a period of time following termination of the emergency. Because we are meeting remotely, we ask for your patience with any delays and technical issues. Members of the public can and are watching the meeting live on YouTube at youtube.com/Toronto City Council Live, all one word. There are no registered public speakers for this meeting. I'd like to remind all staff and participants to please keep your mics muted and video turned off unless you need to address the board. This will make it easier for me as chair and for those watching on YouTube to observe directors as we debate and vote on the agenda item. Directors, I'll also ask you to please keep your mics muted, unless you wish to question staff or speak to an item, and to ensure, please, that your video is turned on for the meeting. If directors wish to ask questions of staff or to speak, please make sure your video is on and raise your hand, or unmute your mic and indicate your intention to speak, and we'll create a speakers list. When voting on an item or motion, ask that directors please turn on your video and raise their hand to indicate a vote. If there's a recorded vote, we'll ask you to state if you are in favor or opposed. And directors, I want to remind you that although we are still participating remotely, we must submit motions in writing to the board secretary. Clerk staff are available at tpaboard, TPABOARD, at toronto.ca to help with motions. Although we're in different locations and meeting remotely today, as is our custom, the Board of Directors of the Toronto Parking Authority acknowledges that the land on which we usually meet is the traditional territory of many nations, including Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. At this time, I'll ask if there are any declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. If you have an interest, please raise your hand or unmute your mic and indicate the item number, probably item 1, and the nature of the interest. Seeing none, I want to declare that I have an interest on this item before us this morning, item PA 17.1, the transaction update of city-owned 50 Cumberland Street / 37 Yorkville Avenue, Municipal Car Park 15. As members of the law firm of which I'm a partner, are counsel to receiver in this matter. I have filed my completed declaration of interest form with the secretary, and as I've declared an interest on our sole item of business, I will recuse myself from the debate and then vote on item PA 17.1, and will ask the vice chair to please preside over the next part of the meeting. The board secretary has advised that I'll be moved to the WebEx lobby for the debate, the vote, and closed session, if any, on this item. Board secretary, if you could please boot me out. I will sit here in abeyance.
Okay, so we'll just take a moment while...
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, directors, the chair has now been moved to the WebEx lobby. While in the WebEx lobby, the chair will be unable to hear and see any of the debate, vote, or closed session, if any, on item PA 17.1. The vice chair will chair the meeting for this item. Mr. Vice Chair, please go ahead. Yeah, Mr. Vice Chair, I know you are still on mute. Okay, please go ahead. Oh.
Yeah, I'm unmuted myself. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. Thank you, Board Secretary. We will now consider item PA 17.1, transaction update of city-owned 50 Cumberland Street and 37 Yorkville Avenue, Municipal Car Park, number 15. Sue Kim Lee, a lawyer with the real estate law section of the City of Toronto's legal division, is here to provide a brief overview of this item to the board. Go ahead, Ms. Lee.
Hi, good morning, everyone. The reason for this board report is to report on the proposed sale by the receiver to a successful proponent of the property and the project. And normally, we would do a delegated approval form to approve the successful proponent, but the successful proponent has asked for a number of changes. And so, including like revised timelines, because before Crestford's insolvency, they commenced construction. I think it was November 2018. And the current scenario, if Crestford were to continue, they had to finish within 30 months. So because a new developer is stepping in, it's an established developer, Pemberton Group. They've requested that their deal may be closing at the end of the year. They actually sent some further information on their timelines. And what's going to happen is the receiver has to get a court order to approve the sale and disclaimed the existing unit purchase agreements. They would close the sale with Pemberton. And Pemberton wants 25 months after that to do their marketing, pre-sales, get construction financing. And when they get 25 months, that's what they need to get. And when they get their financing, they will commence construction. And they estimate, because the GFA area is going to be about 1 million square feet, they need up to 46 months. So I looked at it when the request came in, and Chris Henderson, my colleague, cannot be here today. He was dealing with the insolvency. We discussed with Nick Simos, our Creatio, who advises the board on these matters. And we felt that this was worthwhile proceeding with. So the report's been written to for the board's consideration to approve. Just so you know, way back when we were contacted by the receiver, like from time to time, you know, we're in discussions, and a couple of months ago, they said to us, they received very few bids, and this was the only one at the time that was acceptable to them, because they wanted someone established with money and the resources to complete the project. So Pemberton was the only developer that they wanted to deal with. So about 3 weeks ago, they actually advised us that they got a second offer from a lesser known developer, and the terms were not as good. So the receiver would like to proceed with this one. And did everybody get a chance to read the report?
Yes, we did.
And if you have any questions or further details, I can provide that.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Is there any questions to staff on this item? If you have any questions, please raise your hand or unmute your mic to let me know.
I have a question. It's Maureen.
Yes, Maureen.
When you say the 46 months, is that from the end of this year, the close of this year, and then it will be 46 months? That includes the 25 months for the marketing. Is that correct?
No. because the progress of construction to date, Crestford demolished the existing garage, and I think they started excavation and shoring, and I think that's it. So the revised dates would be Pemberton would purchase the property from the receiver. From that day on, they would have 25 months to market, get construction financing. The 25 months is a deadline that they would have to accomplish that. And then once they get their construction financing, they would start construction. They would have 46 months.
Is that 46 months following the 25?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that was my question. Okay.
Thank you.
So it's 25 plus 46.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Does the
Hi,
board
Jeffrey.
have it?
Yes,
Sorry, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Chair, and hello, councillors and other colleagues. A couple of questions. I guess I'll put the questions in context. Certainly, the additional time is a concern to us because it's going to be a long time before we have a parking lot, and them's the breaks when something went wrong with the previous developer. So I'm going to ask some questions just to prepare you on some facts about the guarantors, what obligations they will still have. That's KingSett and the others. So when we get through this, and the only thing that concerns me about the time, I can tell from Maureen, 25 plus 46, we're into practically another decade, potentially. None of that really bothers me. That's what happens when these things happen, except for one question, and that is, the deal is subject to Pemberton getting their financing, which means at some point after 25 months, 50 months, a billion months.
Excuse me, this is Sylvia from the City Clerk's office. With apologies, I do just want to remind the directors that we are currently in public session, so I just want to...
Yeah. So if there's any questions on the confidential attachment, it has to go on in camera.
Correct.
Thank you, Mike. Mr. Chair, my questions will all deal with the negotiations and the terms of the agreement. In public, as I've said, I'm in favor of a transaction. I'm a bit surprised in public session we're mentioning the names of a potential purchaser who we haven't yet agreed to let purchase the property. That's a bit surprising to me. But in any event, I will, other than to indicate that, unfortunately the previous developer went bust for whatever reason, that's going to have an impact on the property and us, and we'll do our best to make sure that we protect the city's interest and get eventually a parking lot as part of this development. Everybody is working towards that goal. At this point, all of my questions be with respect to the confidential attachment, because quite frankly, there was no public document that I saw other than the notice of meeting. So thank you, Chair.
Okay, does the board have any questions other than Mr. Signer that we have to go into in-camera session to deal with on the confidential attachment? Directors, are there any further questions to staff on these items before we go into a confidential session or a closed session in order to deal with the confidential attachment? So, there being no further questions, we would need to go into the closed session. Directors, we have an item that requires a closed session. I will move a motion to the board to go into closed session on item PA 17.1.1. Will the board secretary display and read the motion out aloud? And the board will briefly display the motion. Okay.
That the Board of Directors, Toronto Parking Authority, resets its public session to meet in closed session to consider item PA 17.1, transaction update of city-owned 50 Cumberland Street, 37 Yorkville Avenue, Municipal Car Park 15. Reason for confidential information, information about the terms of a proposed commercial transaction, and legal advice from the city solicitor relating to the proposed transaction and potential litigation.
Is all the directors on video? Okay. Can the directors, by raising their hands, indicate they're in favor of this motion?
In favor.
Mr. Vice Chair,
Yep.
with the absence of our chair, we do need to conduct a recorded vote on this. So I will
Okay.
go ahead and call out the directors' names. When I call your name, could you please indicate if you are in favor or opposed? Councillor Bradford.
In favor?
Director Maureen Farrow.
In favor?
Councillor Lai.
In favor.
Director Vithyananthan.
In favor?
Director Mendez.
In favor?
And Director Steiner.
In favor.
Okay.
So I would like the board secretary to yeah, thank you. I would like the board secretary to temporarily close the meeting to members of the public and only to provide access to directors and the appropriate staff members for the closed session portion of this meeting. In addition, the YouTube live stream will be suspended until the closed session is over. Directors, I would also remind you to arrange your surroundings so that no other person observes any part of the closed session debate.
So please give our staff just a few moments to make the necessary arrangements.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Okay, Director, Vice Chair, we are back in public session.
Is the chair back in the meeting?
You're the,
So I'm still the chair. Okay. Hold on 1 minute.
Okay, Vice Chair, at your direction,
Okay, yeah.
we'll bring the chair back from the lobby.
Chair back, yeah. Yes, please. Can we have the chair back from the lobby, please?
Oh, that's correct. Actually, Vice Chair, apologies. So I would ask you to continue presiding over the remainder of this item through to its conclusion, and then we will bring the chair back for the closing formalities.
Okay. So I'm trying to find out what's the next step here, Board Secretary.
I think we have to comment it in public and report what our resolution was, I think.
That's correct. Vice Chair, you may ask if there is any further public questions or debate on the item, and if not, you may ask for a motion to adopt the item as amended by the closed session motion.
Okay, so is there any public questions on this matter?
Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Not so much a question, just a comment. Because some of our discussion was in the public domain earlier, I just want to mention that the confidential discussion we had about business terms are all in good shape. Our own TPA staff, the legal staff, the city staff who have been working on this have done a very good job. They were able to answer our questions, and we're comfortable that the city's interest, both as a city builder and also from the parking perspective, are in good shape as this transaction happens. From time to time, some things go wrong in real estate, and you have to deal with the fallout and the implications, and it is all well in hand from this one director's point of view. So I just wanted to put that on the public record, given we had a bit of discussion at the front end of this meeting, Mr. Chair and colleagues.
Thank you. Can we have the amended motion displayed by the Board Secretary for the public?
If we can just ask for your patience for 1 second. So, Mr. Vice Chair, if I could ask you to request a mover or...
Yep. Yes, can somebody move this motion?
Allison to move?
Yep. Can we have the directors vote on it and...
Recordable, please, Mr. Chair.
Record it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so directors, when I call your name, please say either in favor or opposed. Councillor Bradford. Absent. Director Farrow.
In favor.
Councillor Lai.
In favor.
Director Vithyananthan.
In favor?
Councillor Mendez.
In favor?
Sorry, Director, and Director Steiner.
Yes, in favor.
Okay, Vice Chair, the vote is 5-0.
Thank you, Board Secretary. Now that we have completed the confidential section of this, the session where the chair is in conflict, we will now call the chair back to the meeting.
Okay, Vice Chair, we can confirm that the chair is back in the meeting.
Okay, so I request the chair to take over.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Vice Chair, for your hard work, and thank you, Board Secretary. Directors and staff, I thank you very much. That concludes our business for today. I thank you all for meeting on relatively short notice, and as I say, I thank the Vice Chair again for stepping in. I look forward to our regularly scheduled meeting on November 3rd and to our full agenda of action items in the meantime, I hope that you and your family stay safe, wear masks, distance appropriately, and continue to follow advice from our public health officials. Our meeting is now adjourned. Take care, everyone. Be well.
Thank you.
Stay well. Nice to see you all.
Yep.